Okay, ladies, gentlemen, anything else, welcome to part 2 of World of Tanks weak spots that aren't weak spots. Okay, back to the French. Let's talk about them. These French titties, they aren't known for having severe armor. They are well armored frontally. If you shoot the superstructure, there's a fair chance that you're gonna bounce clean up, but they have gargantuan weak spots. Look at these cupolas. But one thing we should be aware of is that these cupolas can be a little trolly if you shoot wide, because these wide portions here and here are not actually modeled into the hitbox of the tank. There's no armor behind them. You don't do any damage if you shoot these areas. It's only the center of these wide rectangular boxes on top of these French TDs that are actually able to be damaged. Now, there is one nuance lower tier where I believe you can shoot through one of these areas and hit a cupola presenting behind it, so you can actually do damage, but most of the time, shoot dead center of this cupola, because if you shoot wide, you're gonna find yourself very, very disappointed, so have some caution. Alright, here we are with Minotaur, the T-29, and let me be clear, I don't know of anyone who actually thinks that this is a weak spot anymore. I'm flashing back to old times. Anyone remember the ears of the T-29, back when these things were ginormous weak spots on the vehicle? They are not anymore. In fact, they're so not weak spots that I don't think they're actually modeled into the actual hitbox of the vehicle at all. Like, even on the side, if I'm hitting there, I don't think I'm gonna be able, unless I shoot low and hit the side target between them, these aren't part of the hitbox of the T-29. So don't be fooled. Do not shoot at those ears, because you won't pen. Okay, but you didn't expect to be seeing an arty in this video, but here we are, the GW Tiger. This is a vehicle that we have, in fact, blocked over 1 million points of damage in, and if you'd like to see that video, I'll leave the link to it up in the top right of your screen, in the card there. However, the reason we were able to do that is because of a quirk. This is Captain America's shield, made out of vibranium, and it will block anything except APCR shells. It will block any form of heat shell. Here's an example. What have I got? 340mm of pen, 340mm of pen. Shooting into 10mm of spaced armor on the back of a GW Tiger. Should have drawn a smiley face, if I'm honest, but that should impress upon you. If you've got heat loaded and you shoot into the back of this position, observe away, Peabody.
Some of them shots, the explosions were actually blowing up on either side, on the plates either side of the gun up front here. They weren't.
They go through. They just don't pen what's on the other side. It's the same with this bar on the back there. And the thing is, that platform in real life was what they used to put the gun on. They would winch this platform off of the back of the vehicle, place it on the ground, and use it to give full 360-degree rotation to the gun mounted on the GW Tiger. So that's why it's there from a historical point of view. But in the game, it can feckin' troll people if they spam heat at you, which is really, really feckin' funny. Okay, so the Minotaur, I have a rather unsavory disposition towards the Italian TDs, just because they're better heavy tanks in terms of, like, armor, but the Minotaur hold down is just, it hurts me physically. You might think it has a cupola. Look, I've got a green pen marker there. No, this cupola is not feckin' viable. This is not a weak spot. I don't know what that green pen marker's doing there, but let me tell you, that is the definition of bullshit. It should be next to bullshit in a dictionary. Oh my god, I actually penned. How did I even do that? Let me tell you, I've tried that like 1,000 times. It didn't work. That cupola is trolly as hell. I'm shooting with 279mm of pen. Look how small, look how minuscule this shot is. And look, even the perfect shot like that is gonna bounce. Now this cupola, this is far more viable, but if you're shooting at a Minotaur, hold down, shoot at this cupola right here. Do not shoot for this one, okay? This one is where you wanna go. Okay, here we are with a Japanese behemoth, the Type 5 Heavy, and 1 week spot I want to cover here is the cheeks. The cheeks on tanks of this ilk, the Type 4 Heavy, the AMX M4 51 and 54, I believe, right? When you get an angle presented on their cheeks, they do present as weak spots, these little bits above the tracks here. That's not really the case on the Type 5 Heavy. These areas don't weaken nearly as much as they do on tanks like the AMX and the Type 4 Heavy, so it's something worth being aware of, that this is really not a fantastic shot to take. You do far better shooting at the cupola or at the very, very inner portions of the ears right there. Alright, here in British tanks, we have a Tortoise. I'm sat here in the Conway with what, 257mm of pen? 259, goddamn. We're going to talk about the cupola of the Tortoise. Now, the cupola of the Tortoise and these British TDs are very much weak spots, but we want to be aware that certainly, especially with the Tortoise and the AT-15, we really want to focus on putting the shells between these machine guns on top, right? Because if we go wider, you can see the distinction between our chance of penning. We got lucky with the penetration there, but chances are, if we go wider, we're gonna find some bounces. I'm getting very lucky with these shots here. Let's see if we can get a bounce. Yes, indeed. There you go. So, while you get full green on the internals, the wider you go on the Tortoise's cupola, the more likely you are to find bounces. So do consider when you are shooting at the weak spot of the Tortoise and the AT-15, you want to focus dead center of the cupola or between these machine gun ports right there. Okay, and now on to Russian tanks. We have here a 268 version 4, a paragon of what it means to be overpowered, and we're talking about today the pixel plate. The pixel plate, this is the lower plate of the 268 version 4. This thing is pixels, because this is not a lower plate. That entire plate right there that you're probably gonna catch is, I think, let's load heat, shall we? 340mm pen. I got 330. I do apologize. 330mm of pen. This is a tank destroyer I'm shooting at. Not a heavy tank. Front of a TD. I haven't got a pen yet. We'll try one more time. And our survey says we still haven't got a pen. The worst thing about the lower plate, the pixel plate, as I call it, right there, see? That thing is very close to an auto bounce, right? I can pin it there. If it's in close quarters with me, where it should be, it's now an auto ricochet. Isn't that fun? Yay! So here we are, Russian tanks again, and oh god, the horrific 279E. We're of course talking about the lower plate. This poor man has lost his lower plate. He can't find it, and as a result, we can't shoot it because it doesn't exist. We're shooting the lower plate of our 279E. Guess what? We're gonna have a bad time because it's simply not there. Just aim for the lower plate, lol. Right, okay, so Germany, the Kampfpanzer 07RH. This thing's got a lovely HE shells. It's got like it's mobile, it's got really good DPM, good gun suppression. I really like this vehicle, but a lot of people don't appreciate that the hull of this tank is actually not bad in the armor department. I mean, it is, but the upper plate is 115, which means, yes, well, I should be able to pin it probably 50-50 on this angle. Yeah, there you go. If I catch it on an angle, this upper plate is actually pretty damn trolly. Like, it's not something that you should just auto-aim at and think you're gonna pin every time, because the frontal hull of this thing will troll you. Like, it's not an auto pen like you'd think it might be. Instead, if you see one of these things, side armor is a clean pen, turret armor pretty much anywhere across the board is a clean pen. So don't shoot at the frontal hull of a Kampfpanzer 07RH, because it will just troll you to death. Just be aware of that. Okay, so here with Russian tanks again, the T-34-85M, which frankly has better armor than it should have. The upper plate of this thing can be bouncy, but what's especially bouncy is that while this little machine gun port right here is a weak spot, like it's weaker than the upper plate, what's not a weak spot is here. Look at that! It goes from a full green pen to no pen at all, because this thing goes up by like 40-60 millimeters, something ridiculous like that. So it's worth knowing about that. If you hit here, yeah, you're gonna have a bad time and you're gonna get bounces. So if you are aiming at T-34-85M, just err on the side of aiming over here rather than aiming here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching part 2. If you're interested in more videos in this style and learning World of Tanks, there's the Learn World of Tanks playlist up there. There should also be some links in the description and on the outro screen if you're interested in more content from me. Thank you very much, and farewell.
You better never ever shoot versus the man, cause that's a jerk of his hand, hence you're a permanent ban, yep. Like in a roleplay game, you wield a dagger but get smashed from half a globe away. But don't worry, mate, he's sorry, eh? You could have known though, it's all the same story, eh? You better not berate him, he is living in the country next to the US with oil fields.